Do you ever wanted a better game experience in VR in ACC? Or do you wanted to deliver your Twitch viewers more game information like shown in the video here? Today I will show you how I did it, and I will show you how you can do it too. First of all, we need the free software Armamentario. It's an application that will connect to your game in the background and visualize in a much better way than ACC itself all the different information and in-game data. We will use the additional software OpenKneeboard to inject all these overlays into your game experience. All software is free and linked in the description below. First of all, we need to start Armamentario. All the different overlays are listed on the sidebar on the left. Here you get a dedicated settings page for each overlay, where you can change opacity, colors, or sometimes different styles and the amount of information that is shown. The most important part for us today is the remote address shown in the top right corner. We need to copy that so that we can work with it in our overlay app. Here I already set up my Armamentario overlays, as well as a preview of my Twitch stream and a capture of my chat app. Before we start, make sure in your Armamentario settings the box is unchecked, hide remote overlays while not on track, so you can display and preview them even without the game running. That will be very helpful for setting up OpenKneeboard. To add a new overlay to OpenKneeboard, we go to Settings, Tabs, Add a tab, Web Dashboard. In the address field, we will take our Armamentario remote address from the left side of the window here. Paste it there, and we could add it now, but I really suggest to change this IP address to localhost. So this will be a permanent address. Even after reboot of a computer, this overlay will work. Most likely the IP address you see here will change in the future and the overlays could stop working. You can change it later, so better make it right the first time. After adding the overlay, it will appear in the first row on this page. There are settings to change, but most of the time it will work out of the box. Keep background is transparent enabled, but you can deactivate SimHub integration because it's only a web dashboard. Your new overlay is the first item on the left. The naming change isn't there yet, but don't let that confuse you. It will show up right after a little time. But you can see now here, this is the preview of your added remote overlay. And when we change settings in Armamentario, they will be displayed here too. You can repeat this process now for each overlay you want to display in your VR headset. To get these overlays into our VR view, we head to Settings, Virtual Reality, and here we see many different views. One view stands for one overlay. For each view that we open up, we can reference one of the overlays and append different settings to it. To set up a new view, we click on the plus, set it to independent, add, make sure it's enabled in VR, and under default tab, we can select from all the overlays we set up earlier. All the other settings on this page are mostly for positioning, sizes, and some effects. Let's have a look at how this works when we are in game. I prepared a little preview window of what is displayed in my headset. In reality, you should do this in your racing position and probably have to peek at your screen for fine-tuning the values. Let's show you how to move my input telemetry to another position. Probably the easiest way is to just click into the input field and play with your scroll wheel to change the value. The first three values are for the X, Y, and Z axis, and the little sliders are for rotation on the different axes. You also could input the values directly or use the little arrows to move in tiny steps. Once everything is set up, you can make use of two nice features of OpenKneeboard. You can adjust the opacity of elements dependent on if they are looked up on or not, or you can also set up this behavior with a zoom instead. I will show you quickly how my cockpit is set up. On the top, I got my session and weather widget. In the bottom left is my car damage with focus controlled opacity. In the bottom right is a preview of my Twitch screen. It's also zoomed via focus, so I can check it while I'm driving. And the rest is typical ACC driving related stuff, just in a better position now. Because OpenKneeboard is initially developed for flight sims, where people have real drawing tablets for map markers, etc. on their knees, OpenKneeboard has some functions and default settings we don't need to or have to change for sim racing. Just make sure you had a look at those settings. If you have any further questions, let me know in the comments. If you want to dive deeper into VR settings and improve your VR performance by getting rid of SteamVR as a FPS draining middleman, make sure to subscribe for my next video, where I will show you how I drive ACC and iRacing with overlays and a much better performance than by using OpenVR, which is basically SteamVR and doesn't deserve the name Open. Now, let's put these overlays into our stream. You see my OBS setup here. That's what I used to record the B-roll you saw at the beginning. And here are all the little thingies from Armamentario. Adding them here is similar and even easier as in OpenKneeboard. They are basically browser sources we have to add. They get an URL you put in there and then it will be shown. And the URL you maybe recognize is one of those. We copy this here, go into another scene, and then add a new browser source. Let's make it a test. I put my address in here. We put it in as localhost. Luckily in OBS you can change the URL afterwards. In OpenKneeboard you can't. And then it's set up. There's the overlay. As soon as you start changing the different settings from the overlays, they will be shown in OBS too. And do you remember the setting from the beginning? The checkbox, hide remote overlays while not on track. As you can see here, they are all displayed, even when the game is not running, when I'm not on track. You have to decide for yourself if you want to set it up like this. Just keep in mind that all changes you make in Armamentario will be displayed in your OBS and in your VR headset, because technically they rely on the same browser source. Thank you for watching this far. I hope it was helpful to you. Because I have the feeling you enjoy ACC, I have a little bonus for you. If you are struggling with some tracks or different cars, head over to accsetups.com, a new project of mine where I collected free setups and hot labs of talented creators by hand and made them easy accessible with filters and infos. Like if wet setups are included or MOTEC data or even fast and safe setups. Each setup will lead you to the original creator and they get the traffic they deserve.
Oh, he's leading the race.